7:30 in the morning here, so we've all just woken up, and the sub, which we'll see in a couple minutes here, is just getting ready for its launch for the day. My name is John Jameson. I am a geologist at Memorial University in Newfoundland, Canada.
I'm Amy Gartman. I'm a research oceanographer at the U.S. Geological Survey in Santa Cruz, California.
And my name is Owen Reeves. I'm an associate professor at the University of Bergen in Norway.
And we're just waiting for Alvin to load behind us. So the first thing that happens is the pilot is going to get in, and then the scientists are going to follow, and then they're going to put Alvin over the side. And this cruise, we're at the East Pacific Rise, 9 degrees north. So we're kind of off the coast of Mexico in international waters. And we talked about doing microbiology and geology, and we're using chemistry to interface with those. So what we're studying is how the rocks on the seafloor form these hydrothermal minerals, and then how after they form, they dissolve again and they weather away over time. So what time scales things occur over, how long those deposits are going to persist on the seafloor, what the role of microbes is in mediating dissolution.
So we've been out here for 4 weeks.
Yeah, just about.
4 weeks now, and we pretty much do this every day. We left San Francisco, and it took us about a week driving in a straight line just to get here. And then we've been out here ever since then. We dive every morning at this time. Usually 1 or 2 scientists go down to the bottom of the ocean, and the rest of us wait up here waiting to see what they come up with. And at about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the sub reappears, we get back onto deck, and usually it retreats for us in the basket in front of the sub, which in this case is mostly rocks that have been picked up from these hydrothermal vents on the seafloor. So we pick up rocks when we're down there, and we have instruments to measure temperature, and we also pick up things like little worms that live on the rocks. And then when they come up to the surface, we then have a busy evening, and sometimes going fully into the night, 24 hours, working on these samples here on board.
So we're loading the sub now, and the people are getting into it. I'm just going to try to show you guys. You can see that. So here's our 2 scientists getting in, right there on the ladder. And so Charles is getting in first. He's leading the dive, and Allison is actually her dive, and they're both taking their shoes off right now because you don't want shoes in the sub. So wave at them if you guys can see. They probably can't see you, but good luck, Allison. So they're loading up right now, and it's going to be like another 5 or 10 minutes probably before they launch the sub. The crane here, and then this giant A-frame is this is the back of the sub. You can see the propellers. We're going to lift that up and over the side and then drop it in the water. And then it's going to disappear beneath the surface a few minutes later. There's a crane here that you can hear. Sorry if it's a little bit loud. That's lifting out a small boat that goes and helps Alvin get in the water. Okay, did we just lose them? No.
Oh, we still got that. So they're loading right now. Have you guys had a chance to go down in the sub?
Yes,
over the
we've all 3 gone down already on this trip, and like John said, most of us when we're up here, we have a pretty regular day in the lab, answering emails, things like that. But for 2 of us, our office day is kind of like, flying in a spaceship on the surface of the moon. And you get up, you have breakfast, and then you go do that for the day. So I dove last weekend. John, you dove like right before me. Amy dove right after me. So yeah, we're having pretty regular office days, but the two people going in now are going to have a pretty fun day on the bottom of the seafloor. It takes you about an hour and a half-ish to get down, and then you really feel like you've landed on the surface of another planet. You can see it coming right at you up the windows, and then you got to go to work. You've got a long list of tasks to do on the bottom. We've got a dive plan for every dive. what you've got to collect, what you've got to measure, what observations you need to make, and then at the end of the day, when you're kind of on the way up, which is also about an hour and a half, you've got to radio up to the ship and tell everybody what goodies you got and what we know is going to come up to the lab that evening. So it's kind of fun. The phone always rings in the main lab around the same time, around 4 o'clock, and everybody runs to pick it up to find out what we actually got for the day. And then the sub comes back on deck, everyone has a pretty quick dinner, and then we go to work on samples.
So do you guys have... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The most important thing is not to drink too much water or apple juice at breakfast. Dive sub that day. Because it is very, very small inside there. It fits 3 people, but it's 3 people in basically a sphere that's about the height of 1 person.
Yeah, it's about 6
feet on the inner side, and subs in the water at 8 and on deck at 5. So you're in that 6-foot diameter sphere all day long.
So what you see right now, the 3 of us, this is probably as close as we would be in the submarine. I'm 6'4", so like it's basically what you see right now. 3 little seats right by each other. There's a lot of windows so you can see out. There's a lot of cameras. Still getting ready over there.
But there's no toilet.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. So if you have to pee, you have a little bottle that you have to pee into. You have to pee into a bottle with 2 people sitting right beside you.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't drink very much coffee or juice in the morning before you get into tough work.
You get a very, very simple lunch. You get usually something like a ham and cheese sandwich and a PB&J sandwich. And I think I got an apple and a Milky Way bar, and that was it. That's your office lunch for the day. It's like a picnic at the bottom of the ocean.
All right. Well, it sounds like the astronauts have it a little better. At least sounds like they have a little better bathroom facility than you guys do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right. Well, as we're waiting for the sub to launch, do you guys have, maybe each of you have a highlight of the expedition so far you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So I brought with me. I hope I can do this so that you guys can see. But this is one of the rocks that we collected from the seafloor. Maybe when we go out into the sunshine, we can look at it again. But I'm not sure. I'm trying to hold this up so that you can see it here. But this is what a hydrothermal vent looks like on the seafloor. There we go. Now we got some light on it. Oh, there we go. Right. So unfortunately, that really gold-looking mineral you see is not gold. Wish it was, but it's not. It's a mineral called chalcopyrite, which is a copper and iron-rich mineral. And this is what the insides of these hydrothermal vents look like.
Oh, the black smoke would have been coming out of here.
Right. So there's a hole here, so the fluids are coming out. Do we have a video of
Yeah.
Want to show that right now?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, we're just going to show you a video of what this will actually look like on the seafloor.
All right. Sounds good.
Looks like we got a few more minutes before they put it over the side.
Okay, just 1 second here while we get that set up.
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. Can you see this?
We've got it. Yep.
Okay, perfect. You hit play. So you can see the arms of the Alvin underneath. It's doing stuff. And there's your black smoker there in the background.
So the black smoke is coming up. So what I showed you would be where that smoke is coming out of the seafloor there. Inside there would be these really shiny minerals like the one I had in my hand. And
so the black smoke is actually not smoke, but what's happening is seawater is getting heated as it's traveling through the Earth's crust, and it's changing some chemical properties. It's picking up metals from the crust, and then when it mixes with seawater, it's precipitating the rocks that John's showing you, and then the smoke is actually really small particles of the same minerals that are forming the chimneys. So the smoke forms the basis of these ecosystems. This system, there's not much living, but if you've ever seen tube worms,
it's a little bit deceptive here. So if you look at this footage, you guys probably see a lot of white. A lot of that white stuff is actually microbial life. It's the stuff that you can't really like see with the naked eye. And those are little microorganisms that are living on the outsides of these structures and harvesting the chemicals in the fluid, things that we would find toxic. And it depends on the structure. Sometimes there's larger animals. This one doesn't particularly seem to have larger animals, but they're usually pretty close by. I think you can see some on the upper right screen, small tube worms and things. Okay, we're getting close to putting it over the side now, it looks like.
So the bacteria are the plants of the ecosystem. They're the primary producers, but instead of using photosynthesis like plants use, they're using chemosynthesis based on all the chemicals that are coming out in the smoke.
All right, very cool. It really does look like another planet. It's pretty cool to get a chance to hang out with some aquanauts. And I think a lot of classes probably don't know, we've got better maps of Mars and the moon than we do of our ocean floors. So a lot to explore.
Exactly. And that really hits you in the face when you go down there, because with the lights from the submarine, even with the really like cool lighting and cameras that we have, you can only see about 20 feet on the seafloor. It's complete darkness. It's like it's like darker than space. So here we go. We're going over the side. Try not to trip on the railway line. So now they're lifting it up. You guys can see that. And then you can see the little boat in the water that's going to be helping Alvin get ready for dropping. You can see the propellers turning a little bit, probably. So now this is the fun part of the office day for the 3 people inside, 1 pilot and 2 scientists. So you can see 2 people standing on top. They're the swimmers. They're getting everything ready, last-minute checks. It's a little bit different from snorkeling. There's 1,000,001 things to check on a submarine this complex before it goes as deep as it's going to go. It's going to go 2,500 meters, or about 1.5 miles down now, starting in a few minutes. We're just doing some last checks, bringing it back in just a little bit. Everything needs to be pretty much perfect before it goes in the water. Oh, there we go.
And our lack of knowledge about these systems is really driven home on this trip, because of all the hydrothermal systems in the global ocean, where we are right now is probably the best studied, and we're still discovering new vents and chimneys that nobody's seen before, even though, like I said, this is the best studied system in the global ocean. So most sites have only had 1, 2, or completely 0 expeditions. There's plenty of hydrothermal systems in the oceans that we infer exist but have never actually seen. So there's a lot more discovery still to do.
And we've been this field, in terms of how long it's been going, we've known about these black smokers for about 40 years now. Actually, this cruise is the 40th anniversary, coming up on the 21st of April, of the first real picture of a black smoker. So we've been seeing some beautiful images down there on this trip. So they're getting ready. It's just hanging off the back of the ship now, and they're going to be lowering it soon on this really big rope that you see. Everything's ready. Starting to let it free a little bit. So yeah, thumbs up, and here we go.
Swimmers are in the sub to help it detach from the
So now it goes. There it goes. Yeah, that's it. See that big rope basically just drops it in the water. The swimmers take the rope off and set it free. It drives away from the ship a little bit and then just starts dropping.
Very cool. Have you guys been pretty lucky with the weather so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. It's been very hot every day and pretty calm seas. Get these nice gentle waves coming in, but no storms, no bad weather.
Most cruises you lose a dive or 2 due to weather days, and this cruise we actually picked one up. So really good weather.
And we all have sunburns.
Yeah, we're all a little bit sunburned. Let's get back over here. We might, so it's going to take a few minutes more before it gets away from the ship. We might be able to show you it over the side of the ship as it's getting ready to go down. You might see the little red top of Alvin.